Darkest greetings, horror, sci-fi, and Jason Voorhees fans, and happy second week of October. Um, this episode, for the 2024 October horror movie review series, we're reviewing for this 40th anniversary, and my personal favorite out of this really famous franchise that had a lot of highs and a lot of lows is going to be part 4, the final chapter. With they made many more. Friday the 13th, part 4, the final chapter. And with me to review this amazing movie, we got the man, the myth, the legend himself, Mr. Eric White. How's it going, man?
Hey everybody, going good.
That's good, man. Yeah, you got a Friday 6 background. The audience can't see
Yeah,
it.
which I don't guess anybody will see this, but I don't really. This is not my favorite one. Full
Yeah.
disclosure. So I think mine is probably 6, but this movie's fine. But we'll get into that, I guess.
Okay. And we actually got a brand new guest to the show. He's actually with a friend of my mom. Kind of know this person. In the same like film circle. We got Ben Ellis. How's it going, man?
Hey guys, it's going good.
That's good.
I'm glad you invited me on. This is
man.
I love horror movies. It's going to be great to just bullshit about all the stuff I love.
Yep. But so we have a tradition on my October horror movie review series. Every time we have a new guest on this series, I always ask what are your favorite movies and music to listen to this time of year and in the spooky Halloween October season.
I think if I had to go favorite movie, I would probably say the original Omen. I don't know if you guys have ever heard Werewolves of London, but that's one of my absolute favorite songs to listen to around Halloween. Even if it was ripped off. What's that?
His hair was perfect.
Oh yeah, you're talking about your favorite song.
Yeah. Werewolves of London.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah,
I mean, it's goofy, it's good. It's not as goofy as the Monster Mash, but still good.
Yeah, I remember I heard that song on Rock Band 3, I believe. And I thought it was like one of the coolest songs ever because they're missing a Boris Karloff and like Lon Chaney. It was pretty awesome. But I know I say this every time I ask this question. My favorite song, Red Right Hand. Get Cave in the Bad Seeds. Because every time I hear that, I always think of Ghostface.
I mean, it is pretty synonymous. They put it in every movie, like the Red Right Hand song.
Yeah, that's my favorite song to listen to this time of year.
To never get old listening to the same song just over on repeat.
No, I always listen to it like when it's not Halloween.
Okay.
That's some pretty cool answers, man. I did not expect the Omen at all.
Oh yeah. Well, if we're gonna get into it, I was raised Catholic.
Oh yeah.
And my mom had, we watched that movie together, and she was like, "This is real. This can happen." So as soon as she said that, I was like, "This gets even more horrific. This gets even worse." And then right after that, she showed me The Exorcist, and I was like, "Why?" I'm like, "I'm 11. Why do
it's
this?"
Even worse in some ways.
She's just throwing you off in the deep end, hoping you can swim. Yeah.
Basically, and that's how I became the way I am today. Just warped.
Right. Yeah, that's that's a cool answer. I've actually never seen all the Omen. I need to.
Like the original one?
No, I've never seen any of the Omens.
Oh, you should watch the original one, and then you should watch the first Omen, the newest one. The first Omen's pretty good.
Okay.
Some of the other sequels are not great, but the first one and then this last one.
It's all for you.
It's all for you, Damien.
Yep. All right, so let's get down to business and talk some Friday. And before we get to that, let's do the plot summary according to the Internet Movie Database. After being announced dead and taken to a morgue, Jason Voorhees spontaneously is revived, escapes from the hospital, and stalks a group of friends renting a house in a countryside near Crystal Lake.
3 times before, you have felt The terror. Known. The madness. Lived. The horror. But this is the one you've been screaming for. Friday, the 13th, the final chapter. Jason is back. He moves like a shadow. Dark and silent.
Sorry, you changed your mind?
He never utters a word. He doesn't even seem to breathe.
Where the hell's the corkscrew?
He simply, mindlessly, mercilessly kills.
All right. So since you're the guest, Ben, I'll ask you, what is your overall thoughts about the whole Friday series?
Overall, it's simple. It's clear cut. You've got sexual activity equals death, and so because of that, you are automatically guaranteed, gratuitous butts, gratuitous boobs. It's simple. It's clear cut, and so because of that, I really like it. Now, it does get a little bit muddier along in the series when you've got like Jason in space and Jason in hell. But I think the first 5 or 6 really hold strong to the, the ethos of it all. And I always love it. It's super simple. It's just like, hey, let's have some sex and some violence, and boom, there we go. There's a movie.
Yeah, dude, I fucking love Jason X. That movie is extraordinary.
It really is.
Yeah. What about you, Eric? What is your overall thoughts about the Friday series?
I've been watching this series for a long while. I can't remember which one it is. Either way, it's one of them where this girl gets like a rail spike like shoved through her while she's doing the nasty and like split in half. And I saw that when I was like 8, and I haven't been able to look back since then. Some of these are better than others, but I tend to lean more towards the goofy ones, but this one's pretty good.
I generally love this series. I think, to me, the Nightmare series and the Friday series as a whole, I like them way better than the Halloween series. I think after 3, maybe after 4, it slowly starts to go down, and it picked up during like H2O, and then Resurrections is all kind of fun, and then fuck the 2 Rob Zombie movies. Those movies suck.
Whoa!
Wait, did you say you liked Resurrections, but you didn't like
It's
the zombie
fun.
movies?
It's a fun movie.
Ooh, I don't
Hold
know.
up. You don't like the Rob Zombie version?
No, I like
Shots
Rob
fired.
Zombie as a person and his music. Some of his music, I just don't like those movies.
Okay.
Now, if you like them, that's fine. I don't gatekeep at all.
No, I take this as a personal attack, Drew.
Well, you know what?
Come
at me.
Yeah, come at me, bro. No, but you didn't like the realistic approach to.
No, I just think if you try to explain your monster too much, it makes it like scary. Plus, I just haven't. Halloween the original. It's my mom and me's favorite movie to watch, like ever. I mean, we try to watch it every year on Halloween, and it's sacred to me. So
That's fair.
Okay,
That's fair.
I can understand that.
I would argue that at least they didn't do the first one again. And so whether you like the backstory of Michael Myers or not, it's something new. And so I commend them at least for that.
Yeah, it's like Metallica. Yeah. Like, I totally get if you only like 80s Metallica, but you can't blame them from going in like more into like hard rock kind of sound in the 90s. Same thing with Rush. Same thing. You can't blame them for wanting to change.
They tried something new. Was it successful? Maybe
some
not.
People.
I don't know.
Maybe not. But...
All right. So I'll start with you, Eric. What is your overall thoughts about this particular Friday movie?
There's a lot of good stuff in this Friday movie. One, you got Crispin Glover. And then 2, you've got it's Corey Feldman, right? Yeah, it's Corey Feldman.
Yeah.
Which are the standouts of this movie to me. And you got a pretty good Jason. Most of the characters are all expendable, but they all have at least a little bit going on that kind of differentiates them. It's definitely an improvement over 3. But I don't know. I still kind of like 2 in some ways. Like Jason still felt like a human being in 2, and here he kind of feels this is where we start tending towards like the supernatural, I guess. But
Right.
but I love 6, so I can't really say too much. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's pretty
Yeah,
good.
I know you do. It's been a big point of contention and argument between the two of us. But I do love that Alice Cooper song. That is pretty awesome. And then
Alice Cooper
sometimes when
song's great.
well, I saw a live version on YouTube where he actually had 2 people dressed as Crystal Lake counselors, and then he had a guy dressed as Jason to kill him. Because you know Alice Cooper's all about their tactics, and that's
Sure.
pretty awesome. Love me some Coop. Love the Coop, man. Love the Coop.
It's all about the Coop.
Yep. What about you, Ellis? What is your overall thoughts about this particular Jason movie?
You know, I really like the first one. I
Mm.
love the second one. They kind of held to that formula of like only the wrongdoers get murdered. Where in this one, you know, right after the weird Simpsons clip style entrance, you know, it's just a bunch of clips of the other movies. All of a sudden you're introduced to, you know, Crispin Glover and his group of friends all driving. They pass a hitchhiker who's done nothing wrong. You know, the only thing she did was said fuck you to somebody that passed her. And then all of a sudden she gets just pulverized. And it's like, wait a minute, she's totally innocent. She did nothing. And so that immediately kind of made me start to question the whole thing. Was like, oh, this is, you know, like Eric said before, it's not our old school Jason. It's just this dude who's like, I'm out here to wreck shop, get some blood, and
like
mess up some teenagers.
Like Jason don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Michael don't give a fuck, and Freddy don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Like the whole.
But that was kind of what I loved, was that he held to a certain, you know, ethos about his, you know, he had a certain philosophy. And in this one, it was like, you know what? Screw it. I'm just gonna kill.
Yeah.
Right. They thought this was going to be the last one, so they were just like, "F it, let's do it all. We're gonna kill everybody."
They
kill a mom.
They swung for
no
fences.
reason. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we all seen Halloween Kills. We know that these people don't care. And there was the whole scene. There was the whole controversy when Michael killed the gay couple in Halloween Kills, and a small segment of that community got upset about it. Like, it's Michael Myers. You don't care. This is the same guy that strangled a dog to death.
But along with what Ben was saying though, like Jason had rules, especially in like 2 and 3. Like he was only killing people doing bad stuff for the most part.
Yes.
Yeah, there's a couple outliers, but yeah.
Yeah, none of these slashers care. My thoughts about this movie is I love it. I think they got right to the point about what makes a cheesy 80s slasher movie amazing. But the teenagers or college students, you know, getting together, just fucking drinking beer and doing drugs. And there's a lot of tits and then a lot of ass. And that's what I like about them. Because as you guys know, I like me the ladies.
I will say this is probably the best looking one up until this point.
Oh,
like,
yeah, absolutely.
The first one looks pretty grimy and grungy, and it kind of works for it because it feels very gritty in some ways, like almost 70s, because that is right at the end of it, like that sort of underground movies made in the 70s. But like 2 was almost getting there, and then 3 was like 3D, so it was too slick for its own good and looked kind of fuzzy at times. This one like looks like a movie for the first time in all these movies. Like it's pretty well lit, and like the performances are all pretty good.
Well, I mean, building off what you said, there's like right away in one of the first scenes, all of a sudden there's a helicopter. And you're like, whoa, like this has become like this is a legitimate funded film. So
there's like that long tracking shot. There's that oneer at the very top.
Well, you know I love those too, Eric. You know I love those. But we'll get to that here in a second. Because I think another reason why I love this movie is because the first one. Okay, if you're watching the first one, like this deep into the series, you're thinking, oh, where's Jason? Oh, wait, it's the mom. And so then in the second one, he didn't. It's Jason, but he didn't have the hockey mask on. He has
So
the bag.
Baghead Jason, yeah.
Yeah. In the third one, he finally gets the hockey mask, but it's in 3D. Like the fourth one, they don't fuck around. Like they get this is a Friday movie that you want, and that's what I love about it. I just think
Yeah.
6, it's fun. Don't get me wrong, but it's too cleaned up for me. I like the dirty, gritty, like Friday movie.
And they cleaned up a lot of stuff in here too. There's a lot of cut like gore because the MPAA was less like
Oh yeah.
they were really cracking down on these slashers by the mid 80s.
And I just thought about this. Like, this is just crazy that these movies are so cheesy and so like B budget, but it's from a big studio, Paramount.
Right. And Paramount didn't want to release it. It wasn't like one of those things that were like, this is our prestige movie of the year. Friday the 13th. It was like a cheapie they bought from Sean Cunningham.
Yeah.
So Sean Cunningham like produced it on his own, like raised his money and everything. And then Universal bought it from him and made a buttload of money. And they're like, I guess we're going to keep making these every year. And they just continue to make money. There's been diminishing returns, but you know,
Yeah.
that's why Universal Paramount probably did not want to keep making these, but they kept making so much money. They were just like, I guess we still have to.
Yeah, and that's the thing about it, like at this time in the 70s and the 80s, a lot of these like B budget movies like Halloween and Evil Dead and Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and Nightmare on Elm Street, they're all like from an independent studio. They didn't have like a big reputable studio. Now New Line is reputable, and now Halloween was at Universal for a while. And then eventually New Line turned to Warner Brothers, like but this is just crazy.
But you're right. I mean, there was all the rest of them were independent films basically, and this one was too to start out with. But by this point, they're not getting a lot of money, but they are still getting like studio backing at this point,
right?
And I can't remember. I don't remember if they were still producing these independently, and then Paramount was distributing them. But I want to say that by 4 they were like getting money from the studio, but I don't remember. But sorry out there, nerds, if you know.
Yeah, it's all good.
If you know, you know.
So you ready to get into deep dive? All right.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah. So I love how we get a recap of the previous 3 films, because I was actually talking to one of my old work buddies, Samantha, and I was telling her that I'm reviewing this movie, and she says, "Oh, I've never seen any of the Friday movies. Maybe I'll check out this one." I'm like, "Sam, you definitely can, because all you need to know that Pamela Voorhees was a crazy bitch, and she didn't like how the teenagers were doing teenager things, and her son Jason drowned, and she started going on a kill spree, and then her son took on the mantle, and they recap all that like right up top."
Yeah,
I
mean, these movies, you don't really need to see them in chronological order. They all kind of exist within their own
as like the Indiana Jones movies, or like Mad Max or 007, where you don't have to watch the previous movie. This is another adventure,
yeah, of course,
with with Indy or Bond or Jason.
Right.
Yeah, I think that was one of the weird things that, I don't know. I went into it, loved the series, and then all of a sudden they do this weird clips episode with all these characters that never come back up again. And it was one of those. It just, I don't know. I respect the fact that they wanted it to be a standalone thing. They wanted people that didn't necessarily invest in the series to be able to come in and be like, "Oh, I get it." But at the same time, immediately I was like, "Oh, okay." It did feel like a clip show. Yeah,
it feels
did.
like filler to like help a runtime get to 90 minutes almost, which is still under 90 minutes. Yeah, it's like 88 minutes or so.
Well, then you get to the actual story, and it feels like, oh, we didn't really need that. Like,
that's a good point. This isn't from the last one. This is from 2, because Amy Steele character is in this.
Yeah, the whole dialogue that he's talking from is from the second one, and they've run clips from all of them. but like they keep cutting back to him at the campfire, and some of those people in the campfire are getting killed in these flashbacks. It's like a weird way to reveal all these things.
Yeah, and then like you said, Ben, previously, like you get that really awesome like wonder shot of like the helicopter, and it kind of goes down to like this crime scene with like police cars and like crime scene tape, and then like Jason's body's in the barn.
And,
yeah,
I wonder if that was their original opening shot, and then the studio was like, nah, it's got to start with a bunch of blood, and they're just like, we don't have any blood. And they're like, what about all these old movies? And they just mashed them all together real quick.
Right. Yeah, and then Jason's taken to the hospital, and then the guy that's like I guess doing like the procedure.
Oh, the creepy morgue operator.
Yeah. Actual. It's super creepy because he's watching like this really weird like 80 workout videotape where these guys are kind of like pumping, or these chicks are like pumping the air.
It's like borderline softcore porn.
It is.
He's just like hanging out with dead bodies, eating a sandwich, just hanging out, trying to hit on the station nurse. And she's like, no, I don't want anything to do with you, Axel. Well, I'll come see what you're up to.
And then he goes into the morgue room with her, and he keeps just wanting to watch this softcore workout tape.
It's like he even got her in there, and then is still trying to switch it back over to it. I don't.
Yeah.
But you want to watch
it like looking over her shoulder.
Yeah.
What a weirdo, that guy. He's eating a sandwich and like setting it on the body and stuff like that. Like typical like morgue stuff. Like any horror movie, I feel like I assume this happened before then, but I feel like there's so many like horror movies where there's a creepy morgue guy and he's eating a sandwich and he doesn't care. He just sets it down on like a dead body.
Right.
It feels like kind of like a trope at this point.
Yeah, for sure. Well, then like they're watching TV and he keeps wanting to switch it back to the workout tape, but he wants to watch the news because the hospital or the morgue is gonna get mentioned.
Which is like a weird thing for her to get excited about. Is that these people were killed and transferred to the morgue, and she's like, yay.
Right.
Yeah, she's like, this is my chance. This is my moment.
And then Axel
be a star.
finally pulls his move on this nurse. And then while they're about to go into Pleasureland, like in Anchorman, freaking Jason's arm flops down, and Axel starts freaking out, and he goes, "Holy jumping Jesus shit!"
Just like the most overreaction of anybody who works in a morgue.
Yes, it's
he just throws his sandwich, and he's like, "Jesus Christ!"
This is so ridiculous. And then the nurse obviously thinks that he's pulling a prank on her, and so like she goes into like the medicine room, and then Jason comes up and like actually kills Axel first, right? He
kills Axel first, yeah. Takes
Axel
a saw and like cuts his throat.
Yeah.
Takes the saw, cuts his throat, and then spins his head around.
Yeah, like The Exorcist.
That is one of the absolute best Jason kills. Like, I think overall in the series,
it's up there.
He's like, he's like, here's one and finisher, and just spins it around.
Fatality. Jason wins.
Yeah, that's exactly what it felt like. And it was, I mean, that's a great way to start it off.
Oh,
absolutely.
absolutely.
The first Jason kill of that movie is, I can think of no better, unless he just folded him up like a lawn chair. I can't really think of a better way to start the movie.
Chef's kiss.
Yeah.
Well, the best way to start Freddy vs. Jason was that boob shot with that girl on the dock.
Buddy, I think I know how you'd make a film.
Dude, I'm mentioning Jason Voorhees just for that reason. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
Okay. You wouldn't be the first person to make a movie.
Honestly, I know I sound super misogynist while saying those things. I do respect women. I'm mostly joking around.
I would say just you're joking around.
Yeah, I'm joking around.
Yeah,
100%.
Don't add mostly.
Don't add mostly. Just say you're joking around. Yeah.
We're just gonna edit that out. There's no mostly.
Yeah. So after Jason killed Axel, he follows the nurse into the medicine cabinet or the medicine room or whatever, and then like freaking like fillets her like a fist. Like I think like he picked her up, right? And it's
Yeah,
like
I can't remember. Does he pick her up? Does he pick her up with the scalpel, like stabs her and then lifts her up that way, or
I
does
think
he? I
so.
can't remember.
If I remember
Yeah.
correctly.
Yeah, I believe he used an instrument and then was like, "Kyo,"
Yeah.
just put her up.
Yep. And then after that we get introduced to the Jarvis family, which is a really weird relation. So because it's one boy and then his sister and his mom, and they're really super affectionate with each other.
Yeah, but I mean, it's also an interesting setup for these movies because usually it's just like one group of kids and that's all we follow. And like this one is different in that we have like they can cut back and forth between two sets of people. So they basically have an A plot and a B plot for this movie where they've got like the Jarvis house and then they've got the kids who are trying to all, boink each other. I like the Jarvis family. They seem nice. It's a little weird to cut right in on them running like from the death scene. Like that cut is super awkward and hard, but I think they're fairly charming. Like they're the most likable people in these movies up until this point.
Well, there's like one point where they're talking about like eating lunch or like dinner or whatever, and then like the mom is like, "Do you want I'm hungry for?" Like Jarvis sandwich, and then like the sister and the mom just hugs Jarvis. It's really interesting to say
They're
the least.
super affectionate. They're sweet with each other.
Yeah,
it's to help you as an audience feel for them whenever they die later, or at least they're about to die. Which the mom does die. Spoilers to anybody who hasn't seen this movie, but it's 40 years old. You should have seen it at this point.
Yeah, and then we get introduced to like these college characters, and this is like the most dated part. One of the most dated part in any of these movies is Ted's dead fuck bit. Throughout the entire movie. Like, what the fuck?
Well,
I think it's called a cadaverous. Yeah, I think it's called a cadaverous lay now instead of.
I just see one dick is what I say.
No, it's fair. But no, you're right. It is Marty McFly. It's pre.
It's Marty McFly's dad, and coming into that was just like that was so jarring because I forgot he was in this. And so
this is like the year before.
Right? Yeah, like literally the year before.
Like 5 lines into all of his dialogue, he's just like, "God, I'm horny." And it's like, well, I know what this character's about. Like, there's no depth.
I honestly think
he's gonna die.
I kind of think he's the most relatable character to me because that's my life
in this movie. Yeah, no,
yeah, because I'm a virgin. Like, yeah.
I mean,
in this movie, in this movie, I do love Crispin Glover. He is he's the only character that we're kind of given the root for and with the kids because his friend who's doing his computer bit is kind of obnoxious, and we don't really get to know the other kids other than they're a little horny and they want to get on with each other. He's the only one that has any sort of sympathy from us as an audience.
I will say the best part about the dead fuck bit is when they're in the kissing, and then Ted like sticks his hand into his pants to simulate his slong. And then somebody walks in on them, and then Crispin Glover goes, "You think he's funny? You think that's a funny thing he's doing?"
It's a good end.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if he improv that or not, but like, I feel like he did. Much like his dance in this movie.
I would, yeah.
Sorry.
No, I would almost hope that he didn't because he didn't improv that line because you look at him and you're like, this fucker is so obnoxious. And all of a sudden, he starts doing all of his obnoxious stuff, like you want to give a kiss to Teddy Bear. And then he finds the weird stag film, starts watching that, and you're just like, this guy needs to go soon.
Yeah, well, I think the never what makes it relatable is because like I have people in my life, like I'm the nice guy. Like I would be the nice I've never been in like a romantic relationship before. But I know I'll be like the nice guy, like a Crispin Glover, and like I have people in my life that tell me, "Man, you just need to get as much tail as you get." I'm like, no, like I'm gonna be a nice gal, and if I like her, then like we'll take it we'll take it there, but I'm not gonna
If you like her and she likes you, when a mommy and a daddy love each other very much.
Yeah. I like that you're living along the Jason guidelines. You're like, you know
yes,
what?
yes. You're not
It's
gonna
gotta
die
be the
because it's a
one.
horror movie. Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm gonna get stuck with a fence post.
But I also think Tommy Jarvis is also relatable to me too.
Yeah.
I wasn't watching horror movies at that age, but I was always sort of fascinated by them. So I think he was relatable in that way. Love the part when he's watching the girl undressed. I think that is hilarious. That's like every young boy at that age. Like you're just, especially like pre-internet, or you don't have like access to the internet. You just gotta watch anything it's available to help you through puberty.
Peeping Tom.
Sometimes you watch the neighbors undress. I mean, it just happens in the 80s.
Yeah, to me, it was the Elm Street 3 nurse. We had that movie recorded on VCR tape, like a blank VCR. Yeah,
oh, yeah. I definitely recorded a few HBO movies before my time. Where you're like, why isn't it recording? Please, God.
Oh, I hope my mom didn't listen to us.
Oh, you know
she probably is.
Yeah, no, we already know that was the first time I ever saw boobs in a movie with Elm Street 3. So.
Oh.
And what a monumentous day it was.
Yeah.
Right. At least it wasn't like something terrible. At least you weren't watching like Schindler's List or something.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I discovered I wasn't gay that day.
You know, I actually find Schindler's List pretty enjoyable. There's some boobs, right?
Oh God. Yeah, that's gonna be offensive to all my Jewish fans.
Oh well, please forgive me.
But
we'll just mosey on past.
But yeah, I do really, and this is so weird to say this about a Friday the 13th movie, but I do like how there's some subtext of Mrs. Jarvis looking at the kids staying over in the next house, in disgust. Okay, that kind of implies that she was one of those kids. And maybe she just made a poor decision like Ryan Gosling and Emily Blunt in Fall Guy and had her daughter.
Huh. He's bringing it back around. I like that connection.
Right.
Well, because I don't know if you see Fall Guy, Eric, but there's a recurring joke about that, about them making bad decisions.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a funny movie. I don't know why it didn't make a lot of money.
Yeah, it's one of those movies that got released early summer that didn't quite connect with an audience. I'm sure it'll come. I'm sure like many movies like that will probably have a life well beyond it.
People I really enjoyed it.
Many years to come.
It's gonna come back around.
Yeah, you saw Fall Guy, right, Ben?
No, I actually haven't. I've watched the synopsis because, like Eric said, it was one of those that just kind of like, you know, it didn't really resonate.
Yeah. Well,
yeah, it was there and then it was gone.
Me and my grandma went to go see it and we loved it.
That's good. I'm glad you like it. I'm looking forward to watching it, but I just haven't had a chance to see it yet.
Yeah, we saw Deadpool and Wolverine. It was awesome. That was like one of the best theater experiences we ever had, ever.
I wouldn't say it was my best experience, but it was a fun ride. It was fun.
It was no Schindler's List, but it's definitely up there.
You cannot talk about the movie without talking about Jimmy's dance. It's something. It is something.
It's perfect. It's a perfect dance. You could score it. I watched the video where you could score it to literally any song almost, and it matches up. Yeah,
well, I think it was AC/DC originally, but they couldn't get the rights to it.
Of course not. Yeah, AC/DC was way too much money for this movie. You need Stephen King cocaine money for that.
Wait, so we're talking about where he just kind of spazzes out in the living room.
Oh yeah.
Where he just
steer the hell out of
basically
him.
having a mild seizure. She's dancing along with. Okay.
Yeah, I love that.
Full body seizure.
Well, the funny thing about it is the next year we got the famous Mike Python dance that was showed in so many gay clubs from Nightmare 2. Like, and now that was actually a bit in the Never Sleep Again documentary. Like he actually said that like it was that he played clips of that movie in so many gay clubs.
I'd forgotten about that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
It's a little sexually charged for a boy cleaning his room in a movie about a dream demon. So
just a skosh confusing.
just a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. So then Paul's girlfriend goes out. She strips completely naked with again, I really like. She swims over to a raft, discovered that he's not there. He basically screwed her over. And then Jason comes up with a freaking spear, right? And like stabs her. Which is a pretty
that's when he just harpoons her like a bluefin tuna. Just but that's after she already got emotionally harpooned by her boyfriend, because he's like, you know what? I'm gonna have this other chick.
Right. But is that an ironic death since she faked drowning earlier in the movie? Like whenever her friend was like there, she like faked drowning.
Yeah.
And then she gets it in the water, basically, right?
Yeah.
Which that thing would sink. If she got stabbed through the bottom of that thing, that thing's going down. There's no way.
It kept floating forever.
Yeah. Well, we totally forgot about
this. Look at it.
Well, we totally forgot about the skip and dip scene. Because Tommy gets to see more boobies during that.
It's true. Well, technically, he didn't see any the first time. He was just seeing.
Yeah, he saw a little bit. Like I said, when you're
like
a kid,
backs of people,
that silhouette.
When you're a kid that age with no internet access, like you can take what you get at that point.
You have a very strong imagination in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah,
that's all I'll say.
Yeah, you would know, Eric.
That is a very supple back I just saw.
Oh, I saw an ankle.
Yeah, my word.
And then, of course, Paul, kind of realizes late in the game that what he's doing is wrong with hooking up or trying to hook up with that British chick. And so he goes outside, strips down his underwear, which is completely unfair. I think those undies need to go off. Like, if we see his girlfriend full frontal, we need to see Paul full frontal. I'm sorry. Like, I'm not equal opportunity.
I think we saw him early in broad daylight, though, didn't he? Didn't he strip down to his skivvies when down to his birthday suit?
See his log.
He's trying to see the full
the full Monty,
we got
if you will.
To see butt. Yeah, he wants the full
you
Monty.
see booty.
We got to see a little butt. Yeah.
This is the 80s. You couldn't show a peen without getting like an X rating.
So Paul strips down to his undies and he goes swimming, and he goes over to a dock, and he gets a freaking spear in his crotch. And he gets lifted up, and I'm like, well, if you weren't getting any before, you're definitely not getting any now.
No.
Yep.
No.
I mean, if we're talking technicalities, he's got twice as much as he had to begin with.
That's true.
Right down the middle.
Yep. Yeah, he's a dead fuck both literally and figuratively. At this point.
So long, Paul.
Yeah.
Sailor's death.
Yeah. Well, and then at one point, Tommy Jarvis and his sister, I don't know her name, meets up with a hitchhiker because her car breaks down, and they actually took this element in the remake, because the remake is really a remake of the first four. But they bring in different elements, if you remember.
You're talking about the 2009 version?
Yeah.
I really like the first 30 minutes of the 2009 version.
Oh, I really like it.
I don't care after the opening credits happen, but
yeah, Derek Mears is actually my favorite Jason, to be honest.
He's pretty good. He's pretty good, Jason. Yeah.
Yeah. But so there's a hitchhiker there.
Which is setting up is he attached to a character from the third one or the second one? But he's looking for his sister. Like he's avenging his sister.
And I thought he was from the third one.
I think so. I think you're right. I think it's like one of the kids from the third one who died.
Yeah.
It's his sister. Yeah.
Yeah, I know for sure.
And
sorry.
Oh, I was just gonna say, if I remember right, he comes out of the woods with a machete, and he's like, "Oh, I'm hunting bear," and it's like, "Oh, that's obviously what you hunt bear with."
Of course, obviously, yes.
Yeah, well, I know the hitchhiker, which is Jared Padalecki from Supernatural. He's actually looking for his sister that was in the sort of prologue beginning.
See, I
Um,
think he knows his sister's dead, and he's trying to avenge her death in this one. But I can't
okay.
remember for sure. I think that's
Who
right.
cares about
There's
it?
some connection. Yeah, there's some
It's a
connection.
Friday movie.
It doesn't really matter.
Who gives a fuck?
He's gonna die. Everyone's gonna die.
Yeah.
The boy's got the bloodlust. What can
He's
you
got
do?
the bloodlust. Yeah,
Oh yeah, for sure.
boys will be boys.
I
Their
will say
bloodlusts.
one of my
Sometimes you just got to machete a motherfucker.
I will say one of my favorite kills in this. We're not at that point yet, but the silhouette kill of the one of the British twins, like stabbed in the stomach and then thrown to the wall. I just love that shit. I thought that was the coolest thing. One of the coolest things ever.
It's a
Like,
nice kill, and it's not like an easy thing to get a crisp shadow like that on a wall, like lighting wise.
Yeah, that's pretty challenging, actually.
Yeah, and who's the director? George Zuko or something like that.
Zito, I think is his
Yeah,
last
Joe
name.
Zito.
I don't know what else he's
Yeah,
done, but yeah.
this guy's cooking, man. Like he's coming up with some interesting camera like shots and like
Yeah.
and different kills and how to portray them. It's really kind of cool. For
It works pretty well until he gets to the Teddy's death, which is probably the lamest kill.
Oh, I love
And
that.
maybe all of I don't know. It's kind of lame to me by comparison to everything else. Like it comes on the heels of like Crispin Gloven's kill with the corkscrew, and you're just kind of like you can't really top that. So I guess that's why they maybe didn't. It also may have been cut by the MPAA, whatever happened to him. So I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I mean that's coming up soon. But what else do you guys want to talk about? Because I kind of ran out of notes. I just wanted to enjoy this movie.
Sure, of course.
I do this a lot. I'm getting halfway through the movie and I just give up on notes. I just want to enjoy the movie.
Just want to enjoy it, yeah. Tommy makes masks, which I loved as a kid, even though I would never be able to make a mask that complicated, and neither would he. Like
I was gonna say that's completely. I mean, Tom Savini, a brilliant, a genius.
Right.
But obviously, like a 12-year-old little tiny hands cannot be that intricate. Like, I was an interesting 12-year-old, but I have never seen the depths of hell that you would have to see to design something like that.
Right. Well, and that's bring up Tom Savini, like
who's really probably the star of this movie. Yeah.
Yeah, like,
he really was
best makeup artist. Like he's on Mount Rushmore. Like it's him, it's Jack Pierce, Rick Baker, and the guy that did The Thing.
O'Tane?
Yeah, Rob O'Tane. Like that's like the Mount Rushmore of like horror movie makeup design. And I guess Milton Patrick would be there somewhere.
I'm sure that there's some new guys too who are out there doing stuff. I don't know their names off the top of my head though, but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you will soon, Eric. You will soon.
Exactly. They will be immortalized. That's this Hall of Fame. This Mount Rushmore just keeps going and going.
Yeah.
It's not just
an entire mountain range.
Yeah. Yeah, the only real St. Patrick is then he actually designed, he didn't make, but he like drew up the creature from the Black Lagoon design.
Oh, okay. I know who you're talking about now.
Yeah, and then the head of the makeup department at Universal at the time, Bud Rushmore, basically took all credit from her.
That's showbiz, baby.
Well, that's the thing. It was misogynistic at the time. It sucked. I listened to a whole audiobook about it. It was great. I love that book. But yeah,
it doesn't sound like it was great for her.
No, I mean but the whole context of
sure.
No, absolutely.
Yeah, it was a great book. It's called Lady from the Black Lagoon, and everybody should check it out. I'm gonna plug that book as much as I can because it was so good.
Cool.
But yeah, Tom Savini, great makeup artist. He was unique for his time because he was actually a Vietnam War photographer before he got into makeup. So he knew how disgusting, like, the human body can get when it's destroyed and dismembered and decapitated and all that stuff and blown up. So, like, he brought that element to movies like Maniac and Dawn of the Dead, the first Friday the 13th, this Friday the 13th movie we're talking about. So I thought he was real interesting in that. And I think that's what makes him one of the greats. And, like, man, like, nobody's seen, like, zombie effects like what he did in Dawn. Like, it was pretty gross and pretty jarring for for his time.
Oh yeah, no, he seemed to be ahead of the curve, especially the way the '80s were going. With everything just trying, each movie just trying to one up the last one as far as like intensity and like gore at this point.
Yeah, and I know I'm not saying anything new. Everybody knows this, but Psycho broke Pandora's box as far as like what you can do in the horror movie, and then it just everything just got so much crazier. That's
Sure.
when you got movies
Well,
like
that yeah.
yeah, you had movies like Rosemary's Baby,
Mm,
Night of the Living Dead, the original, Exorcist, Dawn of the Dead. It just got so much crazier from there.
yeah.
And Savini was a big part of that. And I think my favorite Savini moment of all time is Tommy killing Jason. I think that is so gnarly. When like
Yeah.
the freaking like Massetti's going through the eye, and then
Yeah.
like Tommy takes the machete, just chops him up to bits, like die, die, die.
No, it's crazy that they got that past the MPAA. Like,
Yeah,
of all the graphic things in this movie, none of them. It's not super graphic in parts. Like you were talking about the silhouette kill earlier, but that machete hit and it like the head like sliding down it as it's like falling, gnarly, and like the hand hit too, like her hitting him in the hand with like the machete, splits it, and then his hand. Oh man.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Still looks pretty good.
Well, let's not forget about that. Tommy Jarvis.
It does. I mean, it holds up.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it does. But let's not forget that Tommy Jarvis was a crafty little kid, and he figured out that, you know what? Let me turn myself into a little Jason, and I'll save my head. Was actually, I watched the interview that Derek Mears did way back in the day when the remake was coming out, or was coming out on Blu-ray, and he said that he actually has alopecia. So he has he had a lot, he suffered from hair loss. So that scene actually really affected him as a kid in that.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, that's
Jeez,
awesome.
I didn't know that. I thought that was just like a humanizing moment.
Oh yeah.
I was like, anybody can be Jason. Like, you push anybody far enough, they can take a machete to somebody's head.
Yeah.
And that was one of the reasons where, you look at it and you're like, the MPAA probably should have cut this, but it's so integral to the storyline and the character that you're like, you know what? You got to leave it in. That's the thing that really brings it all together.
Oh yeah,
right.
Sure.
And they were probably like, keep going. Sorry.
Oh, I was just saying, when he goes back for seconds after everything, where he's just like, motherfucker, and just keeps going. You're like, oh, it's so easy to take it too far.
Yeah.
And it's just a humanizing moment. So like, could you really cut it out without really damaging the character?
Yeah, for sure.
Probably not. No.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's so interesting that like Derek Mears, like my favorite Jason, like as a kid, like it's like a horror movie, like a cheesy, low budget horror movie affected him in that way. Like he related to the character.
Right.
And I heard he's like one of the nicest guy ever. That's usually how it goes. Like these people that play these horror villains, like Robert Englund, especially Derek Mears, Doug Bradley, like they're like the nicest guy.
Rob Zombie.
Yeah. Like honestly, like Derek Mears, he's not like S tier people I want to meet, but he's in my A tier people I want to meet. Like I really want to meet him at a con and have him put me in a neck hold and take a picture with me. Like that's just awesome because that dude's big.
What is he like 6'5" or something like that? Something crazy.
Yeah. And Ted White, I gotta say, he's a close second for me. I can't really say Kane Hodder. I haven't seen a majority of his movies. I've only seen Jason X. For Hodder.
Oh, you haven't seen he started in 5, 6?
No, he was in.
He started in 7. He started 7. Yeah, it started in New Blood, which is a silly one because it's about like I wish he was in a better one. I do kind of like that one because it's the psychic, but it's the psychic like lady versus Jason, which is a little silly. But and he's also maybe the worst one, which is Takes Manhattan. But I kind of love Takes Manhattan. It's ridiculous.
Hugh Jackman Wolverine was joining the MCU at a low point. Kane Hodder joined the Friday series at a low point.
Yeah.
Well,
Everybody's got to start from
TJ
somewhere.
Yeah, well, the Time Variant Society or agency was in control of all
Mhm.
that. That's the whole Friday series.
It's true. Those movies may not be as good as the originals, but honestly, his performance is probably the best Jason. He's the
Mhm.
only one other than maybe two to actually give him make him feel like a living creature and not just
Yeah.
like a stuntman wearing a mask.
Yeah. Well, I don't think because I've seen this one probably the most out of
Mm.
all of them, so I just have a bit of an affection for Mr. White.
That's
He
fair.
did not like Corey Feldman at all. He thought he was just a bratty Hollywood kid, and
And he really wanted to kill him, but he
Yep.
didn't.
yeah, for
That
sure.
rage he played was not acted. That was pure rage.
Yeah, Corey Feldman's kind of a mixed bag for me.
Yeah,
Well, I mean,
he's kind of gone off the deep end here in recent years.
have you guys watched any of his music lately?
Oh,
Not
God.
lately,
Because,
but I have seen of it.
Oh
Yeah.
my word! Oh my word! It is so entertaining for
Yeah.
all the wrong reasons. It's like watching a train crash, and just you can't look away. You can't look away.
Yes.
But I mean, gosh darn it, man, he was a cute kid back in the day. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, he had
No,
he had it going for him. Like this, he did this right before Goonies, right? So this was he did this in '84, then he did Goonies in '85, and then he came back for then he did Lost Boys not too long after that. He had a full on child career going, and then the '90s happened, and grew up,
Yep.
became a music
The
star.
'90s cocaine things happen.
Those things happen.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate with this kind of stuff because you're only that cute kid for so long.
Mm-hmm. And
Like-
some kids can parlay that. Some actors parlay that into long careers, but sometimes it's harder.
I mean, Hayden Pierre, she's doing great. She's in the Scream movies.
Michael Cera's still going. He was
Oh God, I can't
basically a
stand
kid
him.
star.
I can't
Can't
stand
stand
him.
Michael Cera?
I can't stand Michael Cera or Jesse Eisenberg.
Oh, why?
I think they're just both annoying. They're like annoying pricks.
Oh, well.
Yep.
Just
But
in their movies or in real life? Do you know them?
No, just in general, in their movies and in interviews.
Oh,
Yeah, I don't like
that's fair.
that.
I don't watch a lot of interviews with them, so I don't know them that well. But I love Arrested Development.
Yeah.
So we're not here to argue about Michael Cera though.
Well, the thing is,
Got off the
I
deep
like
end.
Zombieland, but freaking Eisenberg ruined it for me.
That's fair.
Yeah. But anyways, if there's nothing else you want to talk about this movie, you want to get to favorite part and least favorite part?
Sure. Let's jump right in.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
All right, Ben, what is your favorite part of this movie?
So I think my favorite part is when the virgin of the movie. I think her name is Sarah.
Mm-hmm.
When she's like, let's go upstairs. Let's go, and let's get cleaned up. And they go to the shower and all that's happening. And she's like, well, I'm gonna go to the bedroom to get ready. And she leaves the guy in the shower.
Hmm.
And all of a sudden he thinks Teddy is in the bathroom, and he's like, oh no, Teddy, I dropped the soap. And all of a sudden it's just a giant baseball mitt of a hand comes through the shower door and just pops his head like a cantaloupe. And that was I think it was just one of the best setup kills. And it was also it was enjoyable. It wasn't it wasn't necessarily the normal, a harpoon through the stomach or, a corkscrew in the eye.
Right.
But it was one of those that was just he wanted to kill this guy, figured out a way, just so happened to be a hand the size of a clutch of bananas that just popped this guy's head. And I thoroughly enjoyed that.
All right. What about your least favorite part in the movie?
I got to go back to the hitchhiker in the beginning. The one that the worst thing she did was say "fuck you," and
didn't even
she
say
had
it
on a sign.
Yeah,
she didn't even say it. She Wile E. Coyote'd it. She just held up a sign. And if I got stabbed every time I said that, I would have been dead long ago. And so relatable character. It's one of those I can't really see anything she did wrong, and it kind of strays Jason from his normal, set of rules. It's like seeing Batman kill somebody.
Right.
It's just one of those things where you're like, come on, buddy, you're better than that. Even if you're a serial killer, you're better than that.
All right, what about you, Eric? Where's your favorite part and your least favorite part?
My favorite part's Crispin Glover. Like
Okay,
every scene he's in, he's silly. Like his
it has to
last
be.
lines are just like it's so good. Everything he does, like he thinks he's funny, right? They're like, oh god, I'm so horny. There's all those like little in scene beats are so
Oh, I
good.
feel your
And then
pain, Crispin. I feel your pain.
yeah, no, I love Crispin Glover in this movie. So
I'm
that's my
exposing
favorite part.
myself a lot in this episode. It's kind of sad.
We can all identify with Daddy McFly.
Yeah.
All right, what about your least favorite part, Eric? And then we'll move on to the next segment. Or I'll move on to mine.
Yeah, I don't know. It's either between Teddy's death or the beginning. The beginning, I get because they're trying to like do. I'll say the beginning, which is just like showing like all those recap stuff. I get what they're trying to do because it was supposed to be the last one, so they're trying to like set up where everything was and where everything was. But it really feels like time filler. It really feels like we just took footage from every other movie and mashed them together. But really, once it like if they had just started on that helicopter shot on that long one take. Pretty great opening.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm gonna go. My favorite part is Jimmy's dance. That's just iconic to this movie. I hate to be this person. I don't have a least favorite part.
Oh, okay.
Come
I think a
on,
lot of
man.
this stuff. I think a lot of this stuff, a lot of the cheesy stuff is part of the series, and I just don't want to be that person that's gonna nitpick it. If this is so iconic to the
that's fine. You even like the title rolling through and exploding in a ball of fire.
I like all of this, man.
It's crazy,
amazing.
That's honestly, that brought me all back in. After the whole clips run, it's like, okay, you blew through the title. I'm in.
Now
I'm back
going.
in. You got me.
Yeah. All right. So before we get to the score, this is the Friday the 13th movie. Like we said, the two things that they're most known for is killing and nudity. So we're going to do the best kills and the best nudity. Now let's get the best kills. You got a wide variety of kills to get to. Neck twisting, corkscrews in the hand, blood going all over a vintage porno movie, film reel, head getting smashed through the sour wall, and crosses full of spears. And so I'll start with you, Eric. What is your favorite kill in this movie?
Oh man, it's corkscrew and like hatchet to the face. Easy.
Yeah.
Like 100%. Like that the whole thing with it, like because it's like a reverse shot. Like the knife, like the butcher, the cleaver going into his head is like a reverse, and then like it's just like that blood pouring down and it's like reaction. I don't know. I love it.
Yeah, for sure. What about you, Ben? What is your favorite kill?
Oh, I think it's definitely between Axel, the creepy morgue technician, or oh god, what's his name? Sarah's boyfriend in the shower. You know, I if I had to go favorite kill in terms of like theatrical quality, I'm gonna go with Axel, because that was just right to the point. Super, you know, that's Jason, quintessential Jason. And then if we're talking about comedic value, I think I would have to go with the guy in the shower.
Oh yeah, for sure. Well, damn you, Eric, you took mine. So the silhouette one is will probably be my second favorite one. I'm gonna go with one that nobody mentioned, and it's the hitchhiker, where they're in the basement, and then I think like Jason takes like one of those, like those mini rakes thingies they use for gardening, and starts like just decking them in like the chest or whatever, and he's like, "He's killing me! He's killing me!" But no, the meat cleaver in the corkscrew, that is my favorite Jason kill. I fucking love that shit so much. But you took it, Eric, you bastard.
Sorry. You asked me first. You could have went first.
Nah, you're good. Now let's get to the second thing that this series is known for, which is nudity. Now we're gonna be equal opportunists and do both male and female. So if any part of any gender is even partly unclothed, it counts as nudity.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
we're talking top half or bottom half?
Either. It could be any
Okay.
non.
All right.
It could be shirtless and have like jeans on. It can be, and it can be any bit of clothing on. So I'll start with you, Ben. What's your favorite female nude scene?
Oh, I think I'm gonna have to go with, I can't recall her name, but the girlfriend that's trying to make her boyfriend jealous that goes to skinny dip, and she like reveals herself, and she's like, "I know you're there, Paul. I know," and she just kind of does this like a show of the goods. She's like, "I know it's there, I know you're there," and then she fully unclothes, and it's just like, okay, this has gone from explained to gratuitous,
Right.
which is I can't complain about. But it's one of those where you're like, okay, you paid her a day rate, and she's like, you know what, if you'll give me an extra $150, I'll take the bottoms off. And that's kind of what it felt like. And
All
so
in.
that, yeah,
Yep.
that's probably my favorite.
Yeah. What about male?
Oh,
It's a hard one.
I think I'm gonna have to go back to the shower scene,
Yeah.
because that dude, like, they have the weird, like, you see the girl's butt, Sarah's butt, put against the the doors, and then you have that weird silhouette side shot where like he's obviously just running his hands all over her in a weirdest fashion, like he's patting her down for TSA. But I think that's probably my favorite male part of our section.
Yeah. All right. What about you, Eric? What is your favorite female nude scene?
I'm gonna go with Ben. I'm not even gonna say a different one because it's the best one. It's just that. Hey, I'm here. Just obviously, we as an audience know that Jason is just in the woods. It's just as an audience, I think it's great. And then for male nudity, like we see some butts at the lake, right? We see some heinies. Those nondescript butts, I will say, are my favorite male bits, I guess. Although we never saw any actual male bits, so it's just butts.
Yep. What about? Oh yeah, it's my turn. So I'm gonna go with my favorite female nudity. It's the same character, but it is Samantha's full frontal scene. You only see it for a second, but I love how you see it. You see it all, and it's pretty awesome. I just like personality, man. Like, I think she's like, I think I had like the biggest crush on her out of all the female characters in this movie, honestly. And then I'm gonna say with male, I gotta go Doug, man. Like the sour.
Which one was Doug? Which one was? I don't remember who. Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, it's Ben's one. But I mean, he just looked like a Kmart version of Rob. Is what he looks like.
Straight up Kmart.
Yeah.
He's the Equate version.
Yeah. The baby
Sam's
face.
choice.
The baby face Rob Lowe from The Outsiders era.
The Members Mark Rob Lowe.
Yep. The St. Elmo's Fire version of Rob Lowe. The man in motion. And you just need a set of wings. So I love that song. That song's amazing. All right, guys. Let's get to score. And how our scoring system works is we do our individual scores. We'll do filmmaking. So basically anything like acting, writing, the actual filmmaking, cinematography, all that stuff. Out of 5, and then thematic score, the thing that makes you think, use your noggin. That'll be out of 5. And then we'll add those up for a possible out of 10 score. And then we add up our individual overall score for the average calculator to give us the official for Sci-Fi and Beyond score. And it's probably going to be low, knowing this movie. So, Eric, what is your filmmaking score?
Filmmaking score, it's I would say it's probably a 3. Okay. This one is really trying. They've got some like nice cinematography going. The kills are pretty top notch. Performances are all pretty good. You know, you kind of expect there to be, you know, characters doing stupid things and getting killed in unexpected ways, but for the most part, pretty well made schlock. Yeah. So for thematic score, oh, I'm gonna give it a 1, and that's being generous because I think there's maybe just enough there about, you know, the recycling, like, you know, the death, and you know, you do drugs, you have sex, you get killed, but there's enough there, I think, with like Tommy and, like, you know, him trying to understand the mentality of Jason by the end, that I'm gonna give it a 1.
Okay. What about, oh, and that's your overall score is a 4.
Yeah.
All right. What about you, Ben? What is your filmmaking score?
So I'm gonna go. I think I'm gonna agree with Eric. I think it's about a 3. It's definitely a step up from the beginning. You know, the independent film type way. You know, and they've obviously stepped up their production quality. They've gotten some names. They're bringing the heat, but they're not bringing the heat. You know, they're doing what they believe is going to return on their investment. And yeah, I think that it lands them at a solid 3. Not a bad place, not a great place, but yeah.
What about your thematic score?
I'm gonna go with the 2.
Okay.
It's not, you know, no disrespect there. I do think that they tried to stick with the, you know, the Jason storyline. They stuck with, for the most part, you know, other than all of the complaints I've had during all of this. 85%, they tried to stick with, you know, the theme of Jason. So I'm gonna go 2.
All right, so that means your overall score is a 5. Now for my score, I'm gonna go filmmaking. I'm gonna go 1 higher, and I'm gonna go 4. I just
bringing the heat.
Yeah, because like I said, man, like this director, he came to play, man. He was trying to do, yeah, he was doing some after his caught type shit here, man. Like
He's trying his best.
Yeah,
with the money he had, probably. Like he's really giving it his all.
Yep. And then for the thematic score, I'm gonna go 1.5. I think there's a little bit here with Mrs. Jarvis. As far as, you know, like, oh, it's implying that she used to be one of these kind of teenagers, you know, party hard and, you know, like sex and all that stuff. And then the whole thing with Tommy, you know, saving his head. So 1.5 with me, my overall score is 5.5. So that means the official for Sci-Fi and Beyond score for Friday the 13th, the final chapter is 5.
Yeah, that
Pretty
sounds about
low.
right.
Yeah.
I mean,
Right-
but it's
right in the
it doesn't
pocket.
right. But it also doesn't diminish like the enjoyment that I get out of it, just because I think that it was, you know, that there really isn't anything thematically to offer. I still have fun watching it. So
Yep. But yeah, man, that was the Friday the 13th, the final chapter. This was a lot of fun, man. I haven't had fun on the podcast in a while, and you brought a lot of it, Ben. So thank you.
I do my best. I hope you have me back.
Yeah, well, no, I definitely will, man. I definitely will find a way to bring you back somehow, like Jason somehow.
I'll just come out of the lake and just drift into the podcast.
But anyways, guys, so next episode in this series is going to be Interview with the Vampire, or with the Vampire, for its 30th anniversary, to keep up with the theme of doing 2 movies that are turning 40 and 2 movies that are turning 30. The week after that, doing the 30th anniversary of Alex Proyas's The Crow with the late great Brandon Lee. And like I said, I'm gonna post that a little bit later in the day, because of Devil's Night, because that's a big plot point in the Crow movie. So be looking forward to that. And then actually the same day, me and Eric got a commentary for the Michael Myers fan film. That what we did last year to promote my David Gordon Green trilogy review that we did last year for my Halloween special. And speaking of Halloween special, me and Eric got a Ghostbuster commentary coming out on Halloween for a
Hey.
Halloween special. Yep, that's gonna be a lot of fun. Because who you gonna call?
Bustin' makes me feel good.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I don't want to think about you that way, Eric. Sorry.
It's the line in the song.
I know.
It's just a line in the song.
You're done. But yeah, so that is the 40th anniversary of Ghostbusters. So instead of reviewing it like everybody else will, let's do a commentary, man. We'll Mystery Science Theater it, and
Okay.
it'll be a lot of fun.
People will probably be upset. They'll just be like, "Shut up! We're trying to enjoy the movie."
Yeah. But anyways, guys, as always, if you like this episode and you want to see more spooky and weird content, make sure you slash that subscribe button with your giant ass machete and follow us on Facebook and Twitter at Horror Sci-Fi and Beyond. You can also listen to an audio version of this podcast over at Spotify, also at Horror Sci-Fi and Beyond. And also, don't forget to leave this episode a killer comment from Jason and give it a Jason Voorhees sized thumbs up. And always remember, guys, stay weird.